Hello and welcome to the Nobody. What is it called again? Why do I forget the name? It's actually not a hard name.
Nobody asked for this podcast.
Yeah. Hello and welcome to the Nobody Asked for This podcast, the podcast nobody asked for. I'm your host, Suit and Tyler, alongside Akira.
Hello.
How's it going?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing good. I was told that I had to redo this intro.
I wonder by who.
I don't know.
Some weird.
Our producer.
Guys. Yeah, our producer.
Our producer told us. Anyway, we're going to be talking about Assassin's Creed, the franchise as a whole. We're going to be ranking every game from best to worst. Together, we're going to have to build this list, and hopefully we agree on every single spot that we put the game on.
We won't.
We most likely won't.
Oh, we will not.
I already have inklings of some that you're going to put high, and I'm like, I don't want to do that. But anyway, so we're going to go through each game from release order, starting from the first all the way to Valhalla. The mainline ones, we're not going to include any of those side-scrolling ones from the DS era or whatever. We're not doing that. Just the mainline games.
PSP. Can't forget the PSP.
Yeah, they had that.
I forgot which one it was.
Bloodline?
I forgot which one it was, but I remember the PSP one.
I actually really like the Vita one. That Vita one's really Liberation.
See, but then the Vita died, so it didn't matter.
That ain't my fault.
PSP for life.
I didn't know you were a PSP guy.
Oh yeah, I had like 3 of them.
I actually never had a PSP.
Really?
Yeah, my friends always did. I just had DS.
Dude, I thought that was revolutionary. I'm like, oh my god, I can take my games on the go.
Should have got a Vita. This is your fault.
Yeah, I thought it was just a copy.
It's better.
Well, where's the Vita now?
Hey, Vita means life, all right? But yeah, so we're going to go through each game, starting in release order from the first one, and make a list together. At the end, we'll post each of our individual lists, in case you want to know for sure what we individually think where these games should go. And time to talk about Assassin's Creed 1. So, with the first game, Assassin's Creed 1, what are your thoughts on it nowadays, and what are your thoughts on it like back in the day when you first played it?
Nowadays, you play that and it's very clunky, I'm not going to lie, when you try to play it now. Because the last time I played it, and then after you play any of the new ones, you're kind of like, even just some of the mid games, you're like, damn, this is a very old style and slow based game. But at the time, I remember thinking, I'm like, this is the best game I've ever played.
Dude, no, that was like the epitome of like next gen gaming. Because that was one of the earliest like 360 games I remember playing. And I'm like, dude, like that dude looks real life. And then you look at him now, it's like, looks kind of.
Yeah, now it just
Although,
looks like
I will say, have you ever played, because they have it on the Xbox. They like have like a backwards compatible version. So it's on the Xbox. And they do some like 4K up-resing to it, and it actually looks pretty dang good.
Oh, really?
Like, much better than it originally did. Hey, Louie. Much better than it originally did. But yeah, it's a little archaic now, especially. But at the time, I remember being like, it was beautiful. It was very unique. Like the whole like Matrix style.
The one thing I did hate was the fact that he couldn't swim.
Oh yeah.
A master assassin that couldn't swim. That
you can parkour, climb up every building, and you can't do a doggy battle.
Exactly. I relate though. I can't swim either. But I'm not a master. Assassin. But I'm not a master assassin. That's the thing.
Yes, or you're at least Altair.
Yeah.
I love the aesthetic of that game too. Like that's something that like Mirage I saw. They're bringing back that like desaturated look as like a filter if you want it. And I'm like, that's kind of cool. Actually, like it's kind of silly, but I think it's kind of cool. It is a very like, especially nowadays, unique look because I feel like a lot of games now are like almost overly colored, trying to do like the Fortnite like high saturated colors and all that stuff. I remember the parkour just being like so revolutionary at the time.
At the time, yeah, it was. I remember that. I really loved doing it.
The first game's parkour is still pretty good too. Like, if anything, there's like the most you can do in that game because they kind of streamlined it a bit as it got further.
By the way, for anyone that's watching this is my dog Louie, who is also joining us now.
Here is King Louie. He hates the first one.
He does. He doesn't like it. That's why he's not looking at the cameras. He's like, I don't talk about this game.
Yeah. I remember like the one thing, like the biggest thing about the first one that sucked. Even at the time, was how repetitive it was.
Yeah,
you can tell it was like that game felt most like the blueprint to like what the Assassin's Creed would be, because it's like, yeah, you're an assassin, you go kill people, you know, you tail them, you listen in on people's conversation. It's like, what else you do?
go to the viewpoint and everything. It was, and then the one thing I did like though is like the feather part. Like that was a contract. Like just like once you kill someone, you get the blood on the feather.
Oh yeah. Like
then they alluded to it in later games, but that one, the first one, I'm always like, that's cool.
No, yeah, the aesthetic of that whole game is like super cool.
Yeah.
Everything they set up, like world wise.
Yeah, gameplay wise, it was pretty repetitive. I remember I got tired of it. I don't know how I was able to play it multiple times, but
when you're a kid, dude, you just replay the same shit. I think about that with the original Battlefront 2. When I was a kid, doing the same thing over and over.
Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2.
Yeah, now I die in a level and I groan. I'm like, I have to do 5 seconds of this level again. Are you fucking kidding me? Like, to be honest, I feel like even in later games this happens where parkour, you're like running up a wall that you don't want to run up on. And
but it was very like restrictive though. Even though the parkour was there, first time ever, it was still very restrictive to what you could do.
Yeah, they didn't have...
Like you couldn't get anywhere you wanted. You still had to follow some
There's
stuff.
a lot of stuff they add on later that like really opens it up. Well, where are we gonna put one? I guess in our list so far of no games.
Honestly, I think comparing to the other games, I'd put it somewhere in the middle.
Yeah, but in the middle. Yeah, I'm like well, obviously it's like 1 right now. I guess. But like, I think as it goes on, I would be. It's not gonna get that low because I feel like it gets. It's like Iron Man 1 or like a lot of these, the first one always has that bump in any franchise because it's the first that introduced it.
But there's definitely way better ones above it.
Yeah. Which leads us to Assassin's Creed 2.
The best one ever fucking made.
Dang, you're just going right
I'm going right at it. That's when you get introduced to Ezio Auditore da Firenze.
He's easily the best character.
He's the best one.
I'll say that. He's easily the best character in the world.
Oh, yeah, exactly.
And, man, I remember when Assassin's Creed 2 first came out. Because, like, 1 is all... When it's all you know, 1's amazing. Even with its flaws. Never seen 2. I'm like, man, Italy? We're going to Italy? As a fellow Italian? I'm like, yes. This is my...
I told our friend who's getting married, he's on his honeymoon, he's going to Italy. I told him like replay Assassin's Creed 2 so you can be like, I climbed up that thing in Assassin's Creed 2.
No, it's such a perfect setting. That's something I missed about with talking about 1 is Assassin's Creed 1 has such a great setting too. I think especially because they like the first game, it's like, well, what are we gonna? We have this parkour thing. What are we gonna do with it? And they find a good city that's very tight and not. I mean, it's old enough that it's like these aren't skyscrapers or whatnot. That's gonna make climbing like boring as hell or whatever.
Like Spider-Man.
Keep that in mind for later games. But you say like Spider-Man?
I'm kidding. It's a joke. It's a joke. Don't hate me.
I mean, or talk about you can just sprint up them.
I know.
You're not sitting there wall climbing on them. I think it was the right setting for that, and then I think the Renaissance Italy is even better. Like. The tight canals and everything you're jumping through.
Just trying to maneuver everything.
Yeah.
And it was just great.
Yeah, it's like, that's when parkour, they refined it more. I believe, that's when they added the pots, right? I don't believe that was in the first one.
The which ones?
Remember when you can jump onto pots and they twist you around buildings so you can easily like go around. So you're running on the side of a building, they got the poles.
Oh,
and then you hang on a pot and
that's
swing.
such a very accurate detail. I don't remember.
I forget that's 2 or Brotherhood.
I don't remember. But I just remember that the parkour was much more smoother. I loved Altair, but Ezio was like
he's so much fun.
So much fun. His like young, charismatic, like almost like a fuckboy kind of thing.
Fuckboy.
Yeah.
I mean, the first mission.
Yeah, he fights a girl. He fights a.
He gets to the street fight and then goes and gets. He's like, time to sneak into my girlfriend's house. But then but it's actually a great story because you kind of get introduced to him like that, like this cocky young kid who has to, when then his father dies and he has to get thrusted.
And brothers.
And brothers. And he gets thrusted into the assassin's order of this father and has to kind of grow up. It's like a coming of age story for him.
Yeah.
That's Ezio. Like, they have some great characters, I think, as the games go on that they introduce, but they never topped Ezio.
Oh, no.
Ezio's...
Don't get me wrong. I like some of the other ones, but Ezio's the best. Yeah. His whole story of the 3 games, the best.
Yeah. Also, I don't know if you remember this. Do you remember the ending of Assassin's Creed 2, like the finale? I love...
Yeah.
I love the fact that you have a fist fight with the Pope. That's the funniest thing.
That's 3.
No,
that's
2.
Brotherhood.
No, it's 2.
Is it 2?
Yeah, because 2.
Oh no, you're right. No, you're right.
You fight him, and then you
up,
go in. Yeah, you go into the first civilization.
You got the staff now and everything. Yeah, I remember what you're talking about.
I'm sorry, it's been a while since.
Yeah, it has.
But it's the you go in, you talk to the one girl. Is that Minerva? Is that her name? Or is that one later? That might be 4. But you talk to her, and then she says Desmond, and then Desmond's like, "The fuck?
Yeah,
how she know my name?" And around that time too, like,
and we didn't get that many present day stuff either.
Yeah, it wasn't. But I like the present day stuff that you.
Well, I like Desmond.
I like Desmond. I like his crew. The British dude and other girl.
You know the one
totally
girl.
Remember their names?
I didn't. Yeah, the one blonde girl, the love interest or whatever. Yeah. I did not realize that was. She played Anna in Frozen.
Oh, what's her name? Producer. Babe.
What?
Producer.
What's Anna, the voice actor? What's her name?
Kristen
Bell.
Bell.
So
Thank you,
Kristen
producer.
Bell. Thank you. Yeah.
No, I didn't know that until years later, and I'm like, oh my god, that's so true.
Yeah, I think the writing was really good in that game too.
Combat was fun too.
I think the thing that you're saying you're the best one. I think it's definitely up there.
How are you saying
I think you
it's
could
not?
argue it is the best. I think that's definitely worth an argument. If all else fails and this ends up number 1, I'm happy.
Okay, about to say.
But I guess it's more of a taste thing because there's certain characters or certain settings that and the gameplay enhancements that they add as the games get on later.
You get a gun.
That I think increase the value.
You get the handgun thing too.
Yeah, you do. But even
fun.
then, shooting is so yeah.
Dude, I don't
it auto locks.
I would love it. I loved it, especially when you're playing some hard boss and you're just like, bah, reload it, bah, and I'm like, yes.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times. How many times I wanted to pick up a gun from when you killed an enemy and I couldn't, and then I got I'm like, yeah, I got my own now.
Yeah, I think the combat in general is good for what it is.
Yeah.
Because you get the dual blades in that one, and it just opens up everything. The dual blades help so much for stealth and all that. But I think that one kind of really leans heavier than the first one, even on the parry one dude, and then you can just take out the whole room. And
that's fun. You have 20 dudes around you. You're just chain killing everyone.
It's cool.
All right, look at the later games, okay?
It's cool, but it kind of detracts from any difficulty or anything, and just the combat kind of becomes simple.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, I could agree with that. The combat was very simple.
Which is why I'm there's some games later that I think refine a lot of these ideas better. But even still, I love Italy so much as a setting, and for the parkour system, I think it's the best complement to the parkour that compared to every other game. Even I don't think they've had a setting that's really been tailored for that system since. They've had some good cities, but not Italy. So 2 is better than 1. Yeah.
What? Yes.
2 is better than 1.
Yes.
Yeah.
Hands down.
Yeah. I mean,
not
we
a
already
question.
know.
Not a question.
We already know where your whole list is at this point.
Well,
where it is on your list.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I was thinking of something else, but that's.
I know which one you thought it was.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
No.
So Italy was great, but then they stick with Italy and they expand even more with Brotherhood, because Assassin's Creed 2 you end in Rome and it's just one mission, and then Brotherhood's okay, let's make Rome a whole open world.
See, but I love Brotherhood because you actively now you recruit people, and then you start getting everyone you have your crew you can call once your meter fills up you can call either a volley of arrows or a squad pulls up beside you. Then you have the cool cutscenes when someone gets initiated. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's the reason they call it Brotherhood. They really lean into the creed aspect and building that whole system out.
Yeah.
Which
not to mention the death of Mario. Rest in peace, Uncle Mario.
We even mentioned that in 2 when they do that. It's a Mia Mario. That's introduced.
That's pretty great.
It's just such a silly nod, and it's just more of 2 pretty much. They add a few more. They added horses in that one. I believe that's when you could ride horses. That's when horses became a much bigger deal because it's the one big open world and you're riding horses around and they have them frontier areas. It's not just the cities.
Ezio's family gets a bit more involved now. Well, like his sister at least does.
See, that's my thing with 2.
You didn't like it?
With Brotherhood, I don't like the story.
Really?
I do not like the Brotherhood story. I think it has that, because it's the second of the Ezio trilogy, and it has that like sequel-itis thing of, okay, this is the second in a trilogy, so nothing major can really actually happen. And then the main villain I wasn't big into. I think Desmond's stuff, they have that interesting twist at the end.
Yeah.
But other than that, I found the story kind of like boring.
Really? But I don't know. I like the story. It wasn't as strong as 2, don't get me wrong. But I thought the story was still good.
2 has that thing of like I said, like, Brotherhood has the problem of being a sequel, and it's like, okay, so you have to, it's Ezio, now he's an assassin, and it's about building the Brotherhood. And I think that is better as a gameplay thing than, like you said, of like being able to call in, he like does that, and they just drop in on people. I think that's great as a gameplay mechanic. And the story, I just kind of find it not that interesting. Of like that story of building it out like that, compared to seeing an origin story for Ezio. I think that's just the issue that the writing has.
I somewhat disagree with you there, but okay. I will let it slide.
This is the one, honestly, like, even I don't remember most about it, but like, which is funny, but I think Brotherhood's the last one probably the most recent one I actually have played. No, I played 3 most recently. But I did play, replaying Brotherhood even like cemented like, oh yeah, I remember not caring about the story, and then replaying, I'm like, yeah, the story, I tried, the story, I just can't get into. But again, it's just like Assassin's Creed 2. It's just kind of more of it. Italy is just an amazing setting. Rome is just a great setting for all that. There's some great missions in that game too.
Oh, coming from the guy that was just sitting on the story, huh?
Well, missions is like fun to do.
It's part of the story.
Yeah, like, but like, because I remember the mission when you're going into Rome, or into the Colosseum, and there's like the play going on.
Yeah.
And you're having to sneak around. Like, that's a fun mission, and trying to figure out, okay, how do I climb up the Colosseum and where can I get into here? There's stuff like that. That is great, but I mean, that's just mission design. That's not.
You still put it higher than 1, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah. So
right
I'll
now
definitely put it higher.
Right now it sits at 2.
You don't put Brotherhood higher than 2, so yeah. I'm putting it between.
Okay.
Yeah. It's 1, Brotherhood 2.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Brotherhood is not. I wouldn't put it higher than 1. It's still a good, like. It still capitalizes on everything that was good of 2. So.
Okay.
And then we have Revelations. I'm sorry, buds. Did I wake you up? Did you have a revelation in your dreams? See what I did there? Segue. Revelations. This is the one I thought you were going to put in number 1, to be honest.
See, it's a good one. I love it. Don't get me wrong. I love Old Man Ezio. Yusuf.
Yeah.
It was great. When he died, I was sad. Looking back at it now, it's not really my favorite of the Ezio trilogies.
Yeah, see, I agree.
Also, do you remember the trailer for it though?
Of Revelations? Dude, it was dope.
That trailer was
really
dope. That thing hooked me. I was like, oh, that was good. No, but I think out of all of Brotherhood was good too. Especially with the controversial Tobascus guy.
Oh, Tobascus. Oh yeah.
Tobascus.
Yeah, he did or what were they called? Not
I forgot what they were called.
Were they honest trailers?
Yeah, no, it was a different dude. But
he does musical trailers.
Musical trailers thing. Was best. If you ever have the chance, I'd recommend it. Go watch Assassin's Creed Brotherhood Tobascus trailer. That thing is hilarious. He kills them with their awesome.
Yeah, those are fun. I mean, especially when I was young back in the day, I'd watch those religiously. I feel like I remember the lyrics to that more than the actual song.
Oh, at this point.
Yeah. But yeah. So my thing is like Revelations. You have 1, you have 2. It's like an actual video game. Improves upon 1, and not just being a prototype, but like fleshing stuff out a lot more. You have Brotherhood, which we have that core. Now let's just improve upon it, tweak stuff, add a few things here. And then Revelations, I think, was the point where it's like, all right, what more can we do? And they kind of are like throwing shit and seeing what sticks.
See, I feel like they didn't really add. I mean, they added the hook thing,
That's
cool.
I think the one good one.
That was a cool thing. But besides that, it was like there's really not much added to it. Like the storyline was good. I liked the story.
Yeah.
Like, do you think it was stronger than
Oh, Brotherhood for sure. Also because it's like I think older Ezio is more interesting seeing this aged Ezio and how they tied into an older Altair.
Yeah, that was good. I like those flashback stuff.
Yeah.
That was pretty good. And then the ending too.
Yeah, and they definitely like stepped it up budget wise. There's a lot more. There's like I remember like the intro of like the whole chariot like chase and stuff like that. There's a lot of cool set piece moments that Revelations has that's like cut above the rest.
I just don't feel like it added any groundbreaking things to it, really.
Yeah, like when it comes to the stuff they added that I'm like, I think the hooked blade works of getting around really fast and basically using it as a zip line. And then like getting an extra like inch or two for climbing in case you need it, you know.
Yeah.
All the many times you get like stuck climbing in like 2 or Brotherhood and you're like, it's just right there, but I'm like, the game just doesn't want to reach it. Now I have this hook and I can kind of do a quick leap and do it. But then there's bombs they added in, and they made like a crafting system for the bombs. Do you remember that?
I do remember.
I'm like,
that.
this is unnecessary. Like, you're an assassin, and now I'm just throwing like freaking cannon bombs at people. I don't think any of this makes sense. And then they had that tower defense thing.
I actually like that.
You like that?
I did. I found it very fun.
I'm so bored of it.
Really? It got repetitive, but I like strategy stuff too, so it's pretty fun to do it.
I could see. Yeah, I know you like strategy, so I could see where that comes in. I just feel like it wasn't that strategic. Like
no, it wasn't.
simple.
But it's simple. But it's something to take your mind off of just running around killing people.
But that's why I'm here. Funny thing is, I was like, there are some side stuff that's like silly side stuff that I actually really love. Do you remember? You don't have to do any of it, but do you remember like the Desmond stuff when you go back and you're like,
you know, I hardly really played the
Desmond era
present stuff because I really didn't care. I was like, give me more Ezio.
See, that's when I was most into it because
really?
Like Revelations, I'm like, dude, he's stuck in the Animus, and it's like you have that little like hub area that's inside the Animus. And you're talking to Subject 16, I believe is the number. I don't remember exactly. I think it was Subject 16. And it's like the guy who's stuck in the Animus before you or whatever. And you do all these. So there's like, tell me if you remember this then. Because there's these side missions that you can do in that hub area. You go to like a different section. And they're first person like puzzle parkour where you're Desmond in first person building blocks.
I remember.
It was actually kind of fun.
I remember. See, but I didn't like it. I did it because I was like, I'll do it because I want to get like close to good completion.
Yeah, get the 100%.
Yeah, but I didn't like it. I hated the human stuff.
I liked it a lot, and because a lot of that is also here's Desmond's backstory, and like you're getting memories of his of like him being a bartender and stuff like that before the assassins came in. That was when I was like the most invested in Desmond's story with all that. That's why I think the story, not even just Ezio's part, but Desmond's like blows Brotherhood out of the water, in my opinion.
What'd you think about Ezio's love interest as like a 50-year-old man going after like a 20-year-old librarian lady?
Oh God, I forgot about that. To be honest, I didn't remember. So the setting, we didn't talk much.
Constantinople.
I think it's cool.
Istanbul.
It's cool. It's just not. It's not Italy.
No, I liked it. Like it was cool. Like I liked changing the scenery a little bit, but it was still kind of more the same kind of stuff. I did love Yusuf. Yusuf was like the one like additional character I liked in it because he was very charismatic and just. It was like a youthful, like smarter, like not smarter, but like a youthful, wiser. If that was like Ezio, when he was like, if he had time to mature, when he joined the Brotherhood.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I can see that. Where would you put it at this point then?
I'd put it over Brotherhood.
I think so too. It's one of those things where I feel like before replaying Brotherhood and before like actually thinking about the list, I would have said lower. But especially after this conversation too, I'm like, I think it does go above it.
I'd put it over Brotherhood, but I wouldn't put it past 2.
Yeah, it doesn't go past 2. 2's got that.
Yeah.
It's funny 2 being a sequel, but 2 also has like what I said of like 1 having a bump. It's like 2 has that bump too of just being the first Ezio.
Yeah. Now onto AC5 or AC3.
No. Yeah, we're on 3.
No, that's what I meant. It's technically the 5th game.
Oh, I see. Yeah. Oh my gosh. I'm like, AC5? What, we're doing Unity already? I'm like, god dang. Or you Rogue, because they're technically both 5, because they came out the same day.
Yeah. Assassin's Creed 5.
3.
5.
3.
3.
5.
Yes.
This one should be my favorite. Like,
I'm not gonna lie.
it bums the shit out of me, man.
I'm not gonna lie. When it first came out, people were hating on it, but I actually really liked it.
No, I did, like, all this to say, it's still better than people. Like, people shit on it a lot.
I don't know why.
It doesn't deserve that much hate.
No.
Even at the time, I remember playing it, and, like, I played a lot of it. I remember spending hours trying to 100% everything, because I was going through the catacombs. Like, I spent so much time in the catacombs, because I get lost, too. Like, just doing that much side stuff, and just, because I liked playing it so much. It's good, but it's also, like, I think the most disappointing.
What did you not like about it? Or like, what disappointed you?
The story's garbage.
See, I like the story.
Well, so Connor's is fine. It's a little slow though.
It is a very slow build.
It's just a very slow story.
What did you feel about like playing as his dad? Like
yeah, like people. I know there's people that like. A common complaint is that people are like, oh, it takes so long. I just want to get to it, and it's like this whole long intro. I actually think that's really cool. I found that stuff interesting, and then the big reveal that like he's a Templar and stuff like that.
Honestly, I spent hours playing as him, exploring different cities. So then by the time I became Connor, I had a bunch of stuff unlocked already. So that was pretty nice.
Same. I spent a lot of time. As I was saying, like I was into it. It was like the new engine. They really streamlined free running at that time. Made it very simple.
You can actually use guns now, the muskets.
Yeah, they actually like work
great.
like a gun instead of, like I said, like
yeah.
a pistol. It's cool, but it's like the game.
But you can actually got the muskets now.
Yeah.
And the Civil War stuff is pretty good.
Yeah,
not Civil War, Revolutionary War.
So that's what I'm saying. Is like this should be my favorite. I love the American Revolution, specifically like, of all historical settings. I'm like, they're doing the American Revolution. This is gonna be so fucking cool. I think that's why I've spent so much time in it, even if it wasn't like the best, because that setting's just so interesting. But the stories just get slow. I think by the time you do become Connor, like you get to be Connor, and then even his stuff takes a while to get going. It's like too. I actually think like his dad's intro was more interesting, and then he switched to him, and then it takes time for me to be like, okay, no, Connor's a cool character now. But you get there, it just takes a while, and then it's a lot of like political stuff because it's the American Revolution, but like and like them trying to set up America, but they kind of get really bogged down into that, which makes the story not that interesting.
Yeah, I mean, but I did like it though because you got the whole dynamic between Hatham and Connor, so it's pretty good. Like you get to see it. So
that stuff's cool. Like I think Achilles is a great character. Fucking love
I loved Achilles. When he died and you have to do the whole mission to bury him, I was like,
yeah, everything with that. Like,
did you like the I loved recruiting people to the homestead and doing their storylines and like getting them up.
Yeah,
I actually love doing that.
I thought it was
that's why I
interesting,
loved it.
But I think it got, for whatever reason, it did, because they kind of go back to that idea a lot in Assassin's Creed in later games, and I don't think it, for whatever reason, it didn't work for me here, but it worked for me a lot in the later ones. Specifically like 4 and Valhalla, I think actually do that idea really good. And maybe it's just a setting thing at that point of like building your community is more interesting to me as like a Viking community or a pirate community compared to the American Revolution. Even though, like, I get what they're trying to do because that's what it's about building America.
But
so
one of the best spots though was the ship.
Like the ship battles?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was when they introduced them. And the ship battles are awesome. That's another thing, though, where it's like, they're just a couple side missions compared to what we get later, which is like a whole blown out, which I think does it much better. But it is the introduction of that, which is really cool. So Connor's story is one thing. I think Connor takes a while, but he is, like, by the end, I do like him. I think he's actually pretty cool. He just takes a long time to get there. I love Achilles. I love their dynamic.
Dude, I love the trailers for it. The trailers for them were all great.
No, like Assassin's Creed they were killing it with trailers.
Even just like not even the cinematic ones, just like the actual gameplay footage stuff is pretty good.
It just the way they used the American Revolution felt like wasted potential a little bit, which is like what leads to disappointment for me. They do the tree parkour, which is interesting, but it kind of comes back to the setting thing of like this setting does not work well.
Oh no, for parkour, no, it does not.
So they fit the tree.
You know what's funny is when I was playing it, I was like, oh, they made us be able to climb trees now because he's native. I was like.
No other assassin thought
no
of it.
other assassin thought of it.
Every other assassin was too white that they could climb a tree. No, but so like that's a great addition, but it felt like one out of necessity because they're like shit. These landscapes don't really have much to.
But I loved it though. I love being able to go around the frontier on a horse, just riding around. Then I don't know where you just run into like either a fort that you can take or. Redcoats riding along and stuff. No, and you can hunt too.
Yeah, and you can hunt. And like,
you got the bow and everything.
To me, like the highlights of that game is actually was doing all these hunting side missions and like all that stuff. And I was just like doing a lot of collectibles and actually like living in the forests compared to the city.
Were you a sword man or were you a axe?
Not
guy?
the axe.
Really, I was more of a sword.
See. That's another thing I was going to touch on in my notes about this one is like there's something about 3 that is so violent compared to the rest
it's
of the
very
games
violent
that it's like this is dope as hell.
Especially when you kill someone because you just have the blood on the snow and stuff. It was pretty good.
Because he was like dual wielding axes and he does that little like flip too. You could just do, and I would just do that all the time because it's like cool. And then you're doing the fights, and you're getting blood all over the snow. Like he has these really awesome with the axes, awesome like death animations with the axes, like rolling, getting one guy, dodging. Like it's so violent.
I love the musket stuff too, because it'd be cool where it's like he stabs one guy and then fires and kills another one. I'm like, damn.
Yeah, it gets a lot of points for how cool combat looks.
I actually
and
really
it is
love
better.
This game.
I think 3's combat is an improvement over.
Well, it's complete. They changed the whole thing, so it was a completely different. Like it looked amazing too.
Parkour is just like.
I think parkour definitely took a step back. This is like the first step where parkour became
less important. Yeah, it's because of, and it's a shame because of the setting.
Yeah.
The snow, I think, is where the tree parkour really shines because it's like. The snow slows you down, so that's when you kind of have to do the trees
you got a horse
to get an advantage on people. And you can, you do the horse, you can jump on. They have like the rope dart, and you can like find people on the trees.
That's pretty cool.
Everything in the like when you're in the forest, I think the game shines the most compared to being in the cities. But so I talked about like Connor's story being whatever. It's decent. I think it just takes a long time. It's slow.
One man's opinion.
Yeah. Desmond's story.
Oh, okay, no.
Fucking like that's where I'm like, this is such a disappointment because, like I said, Revelations is when I like actually got into it. I'm like, oh, I'm so into the story here in Revelations that I'm excited to see because 3 was like, this is the finale of Desmond's story, yada yada. It's so bad.
I hated how they didn't give us a choice.
Yeah, and it's like the worst choices. It's like. They give you the 2 dumbest choices, and then he picks the worst one out of the 2 bad choices. And
releases Juno.
And you don't get to choose.
Releases Juno, he dies, and I'm like...
It's...
Not gonna lie, me personally, when they give you like little flashbacks of like what could happen if you like don't release her and the world ends, I'm like, you know what? I would have chosen that.
I don't know.
Because then he would have been the Messiah, but then the whole cycle would have started again, but it's like, it's fine.
I think it's just they're both just... I think either one would have been just unsatisfying endings.
No, I didn't like that after that we didn't get any more Desmond, because...
Yeah.
Kind of, but... Actually, this is the one time I actually liked the Desmond.
Yeah, they hype it up of like, you're finally going to get parkour or like Assassin's action in the modern world.
Because if you remember the first game, all you could do is just slow walk the entire goddamn time. And
I know
Abstergo.
The big reveal is you get eagle vision finally.
Yeah.
Oh, I can look at a paint. I mean, at the time it was like, whoa, but yeah, you don't get much. And like that, I feel like that first game, it planted that seed of like, one day you'll get the assassin in modern day game.
Did you like his dad? I thought his dad was a dick.
Who, Desmond?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's kind of annoying.
I hate it. I found his dad so annoying.
Well, that's the thing is like, so, like, and he just, every time like sitting back in that hub where you're like in front of you're like underground in front of the whatever, like trying to open that thing or whatever. I don't remember the name, the weird ancient civilization jargon they throw out. But talking to the people there like didn't have the same impact like I mentioned in Revelations, like that little hub or like the characters from 2 and stuff like that. It just didn't feel the same. His dad was annoying. They really like I think they ruined all the good faith of that story they had.
Yeah.
And then so when you have it's like, okay, well that story sucks. Let's jump to Connor's, and it's just kind of slow and boring and doesn't develop. It doesn't develop the way you'd like, or at least the way I'd like. Despite having great characters like Connor by the end, Achilles, his dad is interesting. Mainly because he's a Templar, and that's like
hate them threw me away. Because when I first started the game, I was like, because I remember saw the trailer, and I'm like, how is this gonna go to the native guy? I'm like, this is weird. And then as we're playing it, I'm like, okay, yeah, like you recruit these different people, and they're like, oh, welcome to the Templars, and I was like, what?
Yeah, I remember at the time being like, what? Like blown away, and then a trophy pops, and then the trophy's called "How'd you like them apples?" And I was like, I got me. I remember thinking that was so cool at the time.
All right, where would you rank this one?
It's really tough because there's a lot I don't like about it.
From the ones we've said right now, I have to put it 2.
At 2? Under 2?
Under 2, above Revelations. That's me.
There's stuff I hate so much about this game. I want to put it below all of them.
See, I feel like when I hit this game, everyone was shitting on it, but I remember I played this game way more than I did like almost everyone but 2, because I just loved the American Revolution, the muskets, just being out there in the wilderness and like being able to just I spent hours just fucking around, just hunting, just killing animals, because I was like, okay, cool, just using the bow.
Yeah, that's what's so conflicting with me, because it's like I was the same way. I love the American Revolution as a setting. All this historical stuff I get really into.
Because I remember at one point I killed like 20 redcoats, and then I run into a group of American soldiers, kill them too. I'm like, screw it, I got no sides. Kill everyone.
Yeah. And that's the stuff where it's like, I had a lot of fun at the moment playing it. It's a fun Assassin's Creed game.
Oh, and by the way, did you ever play that DLC they had for it?
No. I always wanted to, though.
Oh, dude. That...
Was it good?
Amazing. I personally, I liked it a lot. Just Washington taking over, becoming King Washington. Like,
yeah, it's such a cool idea.
Even the trailer for it was pretty cool.
Ubisoft used to do that a lot with their deal. Like, I think that started it, and like a lot of their games that have these just really like wild, like alternate history DLC.
I liked it. It was pretty
really
good.
cool. Makes me want to like get that remaster that they released and get that remaster they released and actually
you'll hit puberty. You'll hit puberty one day.
I know.
So where would you rank it? Still waiting on it.
Under 2.
Above
That
Revelations.
seems too high. I think I gotta. See, like I said, it's hard because there's stuff I do like about it, but then there's stuff that I hate so much, and I go like reactionary emotionally, like fuck this game. We're putting this under 1, but I think it probably will go under Revelations, especially if you try to play it nowadays.
This is your show, so I'll.
Are you gonna give it to me?
I'll give it to. It's your show. I'll give it to you.
So put under Revelations.
I'll concede. Okay. I guess I'm not happy.
So we have it at 2 right now. 2 number 1, and then Revelations, Assassin's Creed 3, Brotherhood, 1. Dang, 1's low now at this point.
Well, you gotta remember too. Like 1's great because it started everything, but compared to the other ones, it kind of. That's why I said it's mid. Because once you get started in the other ones, I'm like, all right, now I can.
Yeah.
Now onto the worst fucking one ever made.
Oh no. I was about to say, if that was real, it's gonna be a long conversation.
No. Oh, I love Black Flag.
Black Flag, I love too.
Automatically 2.
All right, we'll talk about it.
What? All right. We'll talk about it later. But
because, well, okay, no, let's start it. I think it's 1 for me. But this is where I talk about where like when you mentioned 2 being your favorite, I go, okay, I wouldn't be mad if that ends up staying number 1. Because as much as Black Flag, I think it's such a great video game. It's such a fun pirate game. Like,
but it's not an assassin game.
Yeah. It's actually a bad Assassin's
It's
Creed
a bad, but it's a great pirate game. I loved it.
When you look at it from the context of like the assassin fantasy, it's bad. When you look at it as a pirate fantasy game, it's the best Pirates of the Caribbean game ever made, hands down.
Oh, yeah.
It's crazy that it has not been topped. Arguably Sea of Thieves, but that's such a different thing.
Sea of Thieves ain't got nothing on Black Flag.
It's such a different thing. It's like a multiplayer. Like, it's crazy that this game is 10 years old and it has not been topped.
No, this is hands down like the best. I love the ship. Will say the one thing I did hate was the tailing parts on the ship. That was the one part I found annoying because obviously the map is like almost like 80% water, so they had to of course keep the tailing of the ships of the tailing mission. So they're like, let's tail on the ship, and I'm like, this is stupid.
Dude, even off the ships. That's what I talk about where it's a bad Assassin's Creed game. Because I feel like if you played this game and went just beeline story stuff, and anytime you're off the boat, the missions that they give you are like the worst kinds of Assassin's Creed missions. It's so much tailing missions and tailing can be finicky, and it's always been like, has its issues in all the games, but it's like, at least in Italy, you had a lot to do. You had other settings that gave you a lot more freedom on those tailing missions, gave you a lot more like avenues, and I mean literally and metaphorically, to go to with those missions. Those islands and that whole area, the scenery does not help the tailing missions at all.
No,
it's a lot of like, here's a bush and you kind of just sit there for a bit and then go to the next bush.
But I did love like all the characters. Like Adewale was amazing. Yes. Just even getting the ship was pretty cool when you have to release everyone.
I think Kenway is the best since
Edward.
Ezio.
Yeah, Edward. Yeah,
like he's the closest.
If they had made more missions about Edward, I would have been like, yes.
Because I love, and it's hard to like look at a Black Flag and be like, oh, it's a bad Assassin's Creed game. It's a good pirate game. When I think the game knows that, because the game, the whole story of that game is like, you're not an assassin until like the last 3 hours. It's about a dude who just is a pirate. It's just about a pirate who donned the clothes and was like, fuck.
Yeah, he killed an assassin, so he's like took his stuff and was like, okay.
And that's what's fun about it is he's a great swashbuckling character, obviously.
And he killed an assassin, so he must be good.
Yeah.
Turncoat assassin actually.
And him he has that similar Ezio thing of gaining responsibility over time.
I will say, I think this game had the best supporting like characters than any of the other games.
Blackbeard's great.
Blackbeard's great. Kid, who's also I forgot her name, but was the woman in the end.
Yeah, I know you're talking about.
And then the one girl at the redhead, she was good. And then just all the other members of like that crew was great. Even I forgot his name, but the fat like innocent English guy, the merchant guy.
He gives me the snake oil salesman from Red Dead vibes.
Oh yeah,
it gives me like that.
See, I loved him because it was funny because he's like with Blackbeard, then he gets his own ship, and I guess he died at one point. He died. Yeah. Do you remember? Did you catch that in the end, in the ending of the game? Because when she starts singing, she starts singing. And then he looks over at the table, and then he sees all his old friends, and he's on there. And I'm like, in my head, I never really clicked. I'm like, oh yeah, Blackbeard died, they died, this and that. And then I saw him, and I didn't think of it. But then it wasn't until after I'm like, oh shit, he ended up dying. It's just no one said he died.
Yeah, poor guy.
But I liked him. He had a family.
Yeah, I think the story's really good in that one. I think it's funny because it's a great video game. It nails everything but being an Assassin's Creed game.
But he has all the guns and everything.
Yeah, and that's when combining the guns with the swordplay was really fun.
Yeah, dual-wielding swords.
Yeah, they balance those two out really well and make combat a lot more engaging. Obviously, the boat stuff is really well made.
Oh, I would love disabling a ship and just boarding it and killing everyone.
And you get to go on what's that called?
The rope?
Yeah, on the rope, and I didn't know what a rope was called, but you get to like swing onto boats and whatnot.
Yeah, I never felt more like Jack Sparrow than when I was doing that.
Yeah, and you freaking just swing up and then you land and stab a dude.
Stab someone.
It's like there's so
And they
many
made you
great
care
moments
about
in that
Blackbeard, who's like notoriously a very vicious, evil guy.
game.
Like when he dies, I was like, no.
Yeah, and that it's like just fulfilling the pirate life and like how they encapsulate that into a game is so well, because not even just on your boat doing the ship battles and boarding like the more typical pirate stuff. It's also like the atypical stuff of like just simply like, oh, what's that island over there? Let's go. Oh, there's a treasure here.
Yeah.
They're doing the treasure maps.
We're forgetting the best part too: the sea shanties.
Yeah, the sea
Just sailing off into the coast, into the distance, as the crew's singing the best.
Yeah, just like fulfilling that fantasy. It does it so well.
Oh, also, low key, those missions were the hardest. Chasing those fucking pieces of paper to get the sea shanties, to me, was so hard. Like, I would get so mad. They go high. You think you're going to get them, and you're like, no.
Well, because like they'll go high. Like it'll be like, oh, we're going over one thing, but it'll be like, even if you're on top of that pole that it's like over, it's still above your head.
Yeah.
I'm like, what the fuck is this?
That was hardest missions. I remember one time I got so mad. I stopped playing for a week because I could not get this paper.
Well, that all leading into like the pirate fantasy and all that. Like building the jackdaw. What I mentioned about the homestead, like the homestead in 3 didn't do it for me, but kind of recruiting people into the jackdaw, sending them out on missions.
Yeah.
Which is a lot of like even what Brotherhood did a little bit, but in that setting of like building a pirate crew and then building your ship, I think was so much more interesting and engaging than just kind of doing your home that I never really went to in 3 because I was busy exploring other areas.
Part of me wishes I could have upgraded like the ship to make it bigger, but I guess.
They do some stuff.
Well, no, like make it like a man of war almost.
Yeah,
that would have been great. Like I would have just been a giant ship just murking everybody.
Yeah, it could have helped.
Oh, and just those like fighting missions that they had, like ship on ship, just battles were great. Like
like the ghost ships,
like the boss
stuff.
battles.
Yeah.
Damn, bro, you farted.
But yeah, the legendary ships, awesome battles, just great gameplay for ships, and it's sad that. I mean, they do it in Odyssey a little bit, but it's not the same.
Yeah, I actually found it better too, because then you'd also get like because you have to. You also get like mercenaries on you, right? I remember right.
Yeah, you'll get hunted down.
Yeah, I remember one time I fought a legendary ship and I was already wanted, and a mercenary ship came at me. I think it was, and then it killed it. I got so bad.
Yeah, like
because my ship was already gone.
Every side mission was fun. Like every side mechanic. Like
there's not one part I hated except for the papers and the trailings. But that was it.
Yeah, all those tailing missions.
The tailing mission stuff I hated, but besides that, overall, this was like a great, just pure game.
And I think it holds up the best too, and that's why I'm like I think it should be up higher than 2. But if you want to take the list more as like what's the best Assassin's Creed game, I totally understand 2 being higher than 4.
Well, here, let's get the producer on here.
He's
Producer,
never played either.
yeah, producer,
What?
you got to choose Black Flag 1 or 2. It's about pirates.
Both of them are about pirates?
No, Black Flag. Just would you rank it number 1 or number 2? It's about pirates.
Well,
You're a pirate.
Let me rephrase this. Which one is the better game, Assassin's Creed 2 or Assassin's Creed Black Flag? One's about pirates. One's about being an assassin in Italy.
Ooh. Those both sound fun. Wait, so the one about the pirates, what's the setting? What's the location?
The Caribbean. You're going through different islands and stuff, and you.
So it's like Pirates of the Caribbean?
Yeah,
essentially.
And it's an open world like pirate game. You're
one of the giant games at the time ever made too.
Yeah, the massive
giant maps.
Because you're actually like sailing from island to island doing stuff.
Well, that one sounds a little too mainstream. So I would go with Assassin's Creed 2. Sounds a little bit more unique.
You heard it here first, folks.
From our producer, Assassin's Creed 2, way better than Black Flag. Black Flag too mainstream. Thank you.
Don't come at me.
Don't come at me.
You can come.
I didn't make that choice.
I think he's got an in with the producer. Just saying.
I'm talking about my personal life.
Did you play Rogue?
Yeah. I played all these games.
All right.
Did I beat all of them? I actually beat like most of them.
I beat.
There's only 2 I didn't beat.
Yeah.
But
I could probably guess which ones.
Yeah, I think we know.
Yeah.
But here's the thing: I didn't beat every game. But the two I didn't beat, I have played hour-wise as much as every other game, or to beat them.
Well, the later games just get so long.
Well, that's what I'm
we'll,
saying.
we'll get
It's
there.
like-
We'll get
It's
there.
like I still put an Assassin's Creed game worth of time into that game, despite that game being like 3 times as long.
Black Flag was at the time. I was like, oh my god, I'm spending. I played that thing for like 2 months. I swear.
Yeah.
Before I finished it.
I mean, at the time that game felt huge, and then
Now it doesn't compare.
and then those 2 games we'll mention later. They're like, hold my beer.
Yeah.
I'll show you. Anyway,
You think you're gonna waste your time?
yeah, right. So, before we get to Assassin's Creed 5, we're gonna do the other Assassin's Creed 5. And we're gonna start with Rogue, which is Assassin's Creed 4 2.
Yes. I actually very much loved this game. As short as it was, I liked the character. I liked knowing what happened to Achilles' brotherhood. And I loved being a Templar.
I think the story is really good.
And he had a cool gun.
Yeah, the grenade launcher.
Yeah.
So they introduced that. Or I think that's technically introduced into the Assassin's Creed 4 DLC, the Freedom Cry. Did you ever play that?
I didn't play Freedom Cry.
It's with
Adewale?
Adewale, yeah. I'm gonna say the Artemis, but that's
Yeah, but that was like DLC though. I'm talking more main game, yeah.
well. Fun fact: they sold it separately. As
They
a
did.
side
I remember they sold it separately.
So if you do want to play it, it's great. I recommend it.
Okay.
It's more 4. Here's the thing though about that game. So I guess we're just talking about this game now before Rogue. That game is so good, but it is nothing compared to 4 because they took the shanties out.
What?
I don't know why. I don't know.
So you were
why.
just sailing in a silent
I don't
ship?
know why they just don't do the shanties.
Huh. It kind of defeats the purpose.
It kind of takes a lot out of the
Yeah.
game, actually. But so we're gonna talk about Rogue. Yeah, I agree with you. I think the story is like one of the shining moments of
Oh, yeah.
and ultimately Rogue is just Assassin's Creed 4 but more.
Yeah, it's a shorter game because there's a transition. I don't know why.
Yes and no, I feel like
It's a way shorter game than any of the other games.
story-wise, yes, but there's still a lot
No,
of
there's still a lot to do, but like story-wise, like it's way shorter than the other ones.
yeah, it's
even
actually-
even the first one.
Yeah, if you like beeline the story, you can get that
Yeah.
done. I feel like in like 6 hours if you really just do the story.
Yeah.
Because that's kind of what I started doing like after a while, and then I went like I kind of did all the side stuff after,
Yeah,
and
because the story's good, but it's just quick because it's more of a transition into, which I thought was great. How they did that.
it's more of a transitional thing.
But yeah, no, I love that game, Rogue.
I think it's fun.
I love Rogue.
I think it's more Black Flag, which I love. It's more of that sailing. I don't think they put as much attention on sailing.
No.
It's also a bit of 3 mixed in there, like a lot more pure land missions, assassin stuff. I think probably better mission design overall than 4 when it comes to being an assassin, even though you're a
Yeah.
Templar, which is funny.
Yeah, well, he's a turncoat Templar.
Yeah.
Well, I get why. Like, I loved his reasoning as to why he went to the Templars because of the stuff his brotherhood did and the earthquake and everything. Like, there wasn't for me, I was like, I understand 100% why he did what he did.
Yeah, they make you care about that side.
Yeah, Shay
a lot
Patrick
more than
Cormac.
you'd expect. Like, they really make you believe in him and like his
Yeah.
reasonings and all that.
I love this saying too when there's like, good luck. He's like, I make my own luck.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, this guy's a
It's a
little.
ledgy, but yeah.
Yeah.
It's fun. No, the story is actually really good in that one. The thing is, though, is that because he's a Templar and they put it in the Arctic more, I believe, right? It's closer.
Kinda.
I wish I knew exactly these locations.
I mean, you're more in the colonies, really. But yeah.
Don't mind me, I'm just looking it up.
I don't know why, but I loved being able to kill the assassins. I like being the villain sometimes. I'm just gonna say it. Sometimes it's fun to be the villain.
Well, it's great for Assassin's Creed because we've had so many games of being the assassins, and it's up to that point it felt very like Jedi Sith. It's like
Yeah.
it's the Templars. Of course they're evil, and I think with this, and especially with the next game, I mean it makes sense because they both came out at the same
Yeah.
time. Like they really start to muddy the waters, and I think that's more interesting. Of kind of exploring like how the assassins can be bad and and like why Templars could actually be like
Good.
Yeah, good.
Well, to some extent.
To some extent, yeah. They don't go like full hog and make it that money. But
I support the Templars.
yeah, I think the story of Rogue is really good, and it is the North Atlantic. I looked it up. They also
because they get penguins in there.
Yeah, that's what I was saying. I remember because I think what's funny is it adds icebergs into like sea gameplay. So you have to like sail around icebergs and use it as cover. And I know you go to New York again. They flesh out New York a lot more. That's why it almost feels like a best of both worlds of 3 and 4 in a way, which you would think would make should make like a better game. But I think losing the pirate aspect specifically because you're in the North Atlantic and it's a more focused personal story about becoming a Templar.
I loved his outfit too.
He's got style.
He's got drip.
He was one of those of like, because you can get his stuff. You can always get like other assassins' outfits later games, and it's always like, get me Shays. And I mean, even before I played it, because Rogue I played way after everything else. Actually, I played
the black
Rogue.
with the red style looked great, and then you didn't see the hood, but you could always put a hood on, and you're like, oh, this is cool.
Yeah, I think I played Rogue before Valhalla came out, so I didn't play it till way later. I didn't play it at the time it came out.
Damn.
Yeah, and I really liked it. That was like my first time actually playing it. But before that, like all those games leading up, I'm like, yo, Shay's outfit. Give me Shay's outfit.
Yeah.
That's cool. But I think because of the North Atlantic setting, it kind of ruins the pirate thing. Obviously, he's not a pirate.
Who's got better drip, Shay Cormac or Isaac McAdoo?
Dude, Isaac McAdoo. If you guys go watch Ted Lasso,
Yeah,
look at
watch
Isaac
Ted
McAdoo's
Lasso.
drip. Oh my god, that dude can't be beat.
No.
When it comes to assassins, though, Shay does have drip. Except for one, I'd say, but that's more because it's customizable.
Oh yeah, you can't. No, it's just base drip.
Yeah, but I think losing the pirate aesthetic is this game on paper should be better than a lot of other ones. It
should,
but like when you kind of talk it out, but losing the pirate thing bumps it down to black.
Yeah,
for me,
I like they try to carry over the pirate stuff or like the ship stuff, but it just wasn't as much, and the world wasn't as big. Yeah, and at that time too, you kind of like you got Black Flag, it's a lot, and then you got another one. You're like, I just went to Black Flag, like, but it's fun.
I think what's funny, like,
I spent more time just shooting people than I did anything.
With the grenade launcher?
Oh, with the gun thing, yeah. I spent more time killing people with that thing than actually with my sword or anything.
It's pretty cool. I think what Rogue shows, and or at this point, talking about Rogue and everything we've talked about, it kind of shows how important a setting is to an Assassin's Creed game. I mean, all these games are about exploring historical settings, and how just, even if it's a very similar game to 4, just not making it about pirates lessens it that much. It's like a weird thing, but... So, where would you put it?
I would put it... So right now it stands for you at AC2. Yeah. Thank you, producer. Black Flag, Revelations, right?
Yes. Because I fought for 3 under Revelation.
Yeah. Revelations, 3, 1, and that's it, right?
Yes.
Are we missing one?
No, Brotherhood 1.
Brotherhood, then 1.
Yeah.
I would put it above Brotherhood.
Yes, I agree with that.
Like it's, you do a lot more than 1. Brotherhood, I love Brotherhood, but being able to do continue the ship, and I thought the story, I just love the Templar stuff, so I don't want to put it too low, but I think that's a good spot for it right now.
Yeah, I agree. I'm actually impressed of how the list is turning out so far. I'm not too mad.
Oh, we'll get mad. I survived Hurricane Hillary, I'm just saying. I'm kidding.
Dude, when I went to Florida, I remember thinking people hyped up Florida being it's humid, so
no, dude.
It's
when
not.
I flew out on Sunday when the hurricane was coming. The
hurricane, you mean?
The hurricane, yeah. California gets earthquakes all the time. All right, it's not a big thing. I grew up there. It's fine. It was a 5.5. I lived through a 7.2. So take that, bitches. That was scarier than that. And I was in Mexico when that hit too. So Mexico buildings are not unsafe. They're way worse. Man, in Mexico, they canceled their classes like if a 4.0 hits. We still had to go to school the next day. The 7.2 hit on an Easter Sunday. That Monday, we had to go to school. They still made us go to school. That's how crazy it was. That's how hard we were. They were like, fuck you guys. You guys are going to school.
I've survived every hurricane that's been a part of my life, to be honest.
You're in Arizona. You don't get hurricanes or nothing.
I know, but still.
Yeah, whatever.
It didn't hit me. It didn't hurt me.
All right. Unity.
Unity. We're going to be divided on this one.
Yeah. Well, I did love the transition. From Rogue to Unity, like at the ending. Because the ending was cool. Because I don't think there's ever been a transition of a game like that. Because, I mean, Black Flag, but it was like, came after all that, so.
They haven't directly connected like that, really. I think you could argue 4 and 3.
But that's separate, though. It's Kenway's family. But
I mean, obviously, it's Desmond.
But this one, it's like, oh, Shay killed Arno's dad, and then it leads into Unity when he's growing up, and you're like, oh, his dad died. Like, we killed him as Shay, and it's a cool transition.
Yeah, I think they do that stuff pretty cool. I mean, at the time, I didn't even know. Like, I remember.
See, I played
Unity first. I never touched Rogue until later, like I said. Unity is a similar thing like what we talked about with 3. Unity got so much shit.
Did you play Unity when it came out?
Yeah, I came up at launch.
Oh, that was...
I played through it at launch. So it's a thing where I actually think everything people shit on Unity totally deserved. It is broken. Like, and I think even still today,
I played it like almost a year ago.
Yeah,
it wasn't too bad.
It's better, but
there are some janky stuff.
There are parts of that game that are still screwy. It's not perfect. But despite all that, it's a fun Assassin's Creed game. I think it kind of... I talked about Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Great pirate game, not a great Assassin's Creed game. I think this is like, as an assassin game, might be the best one.
I will agree with that. I thought his mechanic of how he's like, his parkour stuff was the smoothest it's ever been. Like, that was clean, like, so fluid and everything, like, very agile. Like, that was pretty cool.
And not just, like, the controls, because that's when they add parkour up, parkour down.
Yeah.
Which finally, I feel like, solved a lot of these, okay, I'm on this pole, and I want to go forward. Is he going to swing on that top thing, or is he just going to drop straight down and I die? It's like, no. Now it's very clear. You don't have those issues anymore. But it doesn't just improve on the controls wise. It also goes back to like where I talk about 3, about like 3 so violent, I love it. The animations of like he's doing the slickest shit. Like he's like grabbing on a thing, like spinning around, and it's like this dude's got style in his parkour.
Yeah. I will say
one
of the biggest drawbacks I had for this game though is the missions where you need to get people to do it with.
Oh, the co-op stuff?
The co-op stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
Because I remember I was playing something and I'm like, oh, I want to do this mission, but it's like, oh, recommended is this. And you weren't playing it when I was playing it. Our other 2 friends, they don't play it.
Oh, yeah, you played it way later.
Yeah, so... Well, no, I played it at the time, but I don't think we were...
Oh, did you play it at the time? Well, we didn't know each other.
We didn't really know each other when this came out.
This game came out when I was in high school.
Yeah, so we didn't know each other when it came out. But even later, like afterwards, like you probably didn't have it. The other 2 guys wouldn't have played it.
Yeah.
But so when I try to like queue up in those games, you always get like the shitty person. They wouldn't do nothing, or they just join in, but they were AFK, and then it's just you and another guy, and you're like, this fucking sucks.
Yeah, they tried the multiplayer thing.
It was cool in concept.
It's something we didn't talk about. Brotherhood introduced multiplayer. Remember?
Did it really?
Did you ever play the Assassin's Creed Brotherhood multiplayer? No?
I don't think I did. I think I just played the story.
It's actually so ahead of its time.
Really?
Because it's Among Us.
What?
It has that like deception style gameplay.
Oh no,
because
I know what you mean.
You pick a character, and there's thousands of NPCs that are all those characters, and you have to blend in, and you have a target.
Yeah.
It was so good.
No, I know what you mean.
I wish they'd bring it back.
I forgot about that. That completely went out of my head. You just unlocked the memory.
It was so ahead of its time.
I sucked at it so bad. I don't know how people would know where I was. That was so annoying.
Yeah, I was kicking ass.
Oh, I hated it.
No, and what was so cool is because it not just only captured like the hunt of trying to assassinate someone, but also the chases. Like when you know you're caught, you're like, fuck, I zigged and they should have zagged, and like this dude knows I'm not an NPC, and then you're running and like you find like doors that will lock behind you can do to try to break chases. It's a shame that never got big,
because it was kind of slow. I remember that. I remember it was slow.
Well, I mean that's around the time of like the biggest multiplayer games are like Halo, Call of Duty, fast action shooters, and this one is no. You're supposed to sit there. You're supposed to wait, bide your time, wait for the moment to strike.
Yeah.
And I think that is appropriate now in today's like multiplayer environment with Apex and Fortnite of like these battle royales where a lot of it is like, all right,
brother, have
more
you seen
methodical.
Fortnite?
Huh?
That's Fortnite's. You just turned into like a skyscraper now.
Well, they took auto build off, didn't they?
I don't know.
To be honest, I don't know. I shouldn't be talking about Fortnite. I haven't played it.
I haven't played that in
I
years.
didn't play it when it came out. You know? Like I played a couple matches with you guys.
Oh yeah.
But I didn't like play it.
I was clutch.
Yeah. I like Apex better.
I like Apex too, but Unity.
Yeah. But yeah. So anyway, I just wish they brought that multiplayer back, and they try to do the co-op thing here. And I think co-op Assassin's Creed is an interesting idea.
What'd you think about the story?
It's hard to execute though. See, and I think the story is interesting. It's
French Revolution.
Yeah, and I think writing-wise, it feels like, man, people really love Ezio, don't they? And they try to make Arno Ezio like 2.0, and it doesn't work. It's like I don't really care about him.
I wasn't. This was like the one story where I was like, not the strong. I like the gameplay. Don't get me wrong. It was fun.
I find the things I like about the stories. I mentioned so Rogue is about kind of finally showing, hey, Templars might not be so bad. And Unity goes that even further of you're an assassin in Unity, and as the assassin, you're kind of getting frustrated with all these rules and the way, because Arno is an Ezio type young kid, like kind of wants to bend and break the rules and break traditions, and assassins are so set in their ways.
And wasn't his love interest Templar too?
Yeah, and I think all that stuff, parts of the story, are actually really interesting. Arno isn't that compelling of a character by the end of the day.
No,
his circumstances are better than his character, and that kind of breaks or kind of muddies the story, like or your interest in it when you're not really caring for the character. But the French Revolution, I think, is a cool setting.
No, I did like the French Revolution, like Napoleon Bonaparte, like getting hit, like him being involved in it too was pretty cool. I don't know. We just like revolutions,
Yeah,
America.
Right. Something that Unity does. It looks gorgeous, absolutely gorgeous. I think it still looks gorgeous even now, like arguably better than.
Yeah, no, it was an amazing good game.
I look at it, I'm like, how does this game look better than Valhalla? I don't understand. It's like you ever look at like Arkham Knight? You ever play the Arkham games?
I did not. Oh no, I did.
You play the Arkham games? Arkham Knight. You look at Arkham Knight as like a game from 2015, and then that Gotham Knights game comes out, and you're like, how does Arkham Knight look way better than this?
The Gotham Knights is trash.
Yeah, I wished it was good. But anyway, Unity. We keep getting this.
I know.
Arno's character is not great, but what I love that Unity does is it felt the most like making your own assassin with how customizable everything is. Like weapons you can get, the outfits. I was in my Duffy there. Like, you remember when I was playing Red Dead 2?
Yeah.
And I'm spending hours like getting the perfect leather jacket with the right shade of red for my cowboy because he needs to look fucking fine as hell.
Yeah.
That when I saw Unity's character customization, I was just like, let's fucking go. I was so into it. And at that time, I think that is what I really wanted out of an Assassin's Creed game. To finally feel like this is my assassin. I'm not playing.
Yeah.
Arno is a character, but it kind of helps that he's not a good
you can
character.
make your own character.
Because I'm like, no, this is like me as an assassin. And the missions are like open-ended. Here are all these different avenues. Your target, this is your target. Figure out how to do it.
Yeah.
You could just go straight up and try to stab him and figure that out and run out. Or, hey, there's this little opportunity on this side, that side. You could go down.
Oh, no. I like the options they give you, like, hey, this is how to do it. What would you rank it?
See, that's the thing is like, Unity's buggy as hell, but I actually think it's pretty good. And I think over time, it's only gotten better.
I have to put it under Rogue.
You're putting it under Rogue? Oof. See, story-wise, it's a thing of like Rogue is a much more competent game.
I still think Rogue story is way better than Unity.
Rogue story is better,
in my opinion.
Rogue is a really competent Assassin's Creed game, and that's where I can say for like Unity is definitely more flawed.
Like I guess if you want to go back to it, like pure assassin game, it should be high up. Pure Assassin's Creed game should be high up. Overall game in the Assassin's Creed stuff, I have to put it. In my opinion, it's under Rogue.
What do we have above Rogue? We have 3 above Rogue. See, I might put it.
But lower? If you want to put it lower, I'll go with putting it lower.
No, for higher. But I'm trying to see what I can get away. I'm trying to see what I can get away with.
How are you going to put it higher? Where would you put it? Where would you put it?
I put it. So okay, if this is me, I might put it above Revelations.
What? How would you put it above Revelations?
Because it's like I feel like a lot of its problems are at launch and at nowadays. And
yeah, and I've played it. I've played it again after.
To be fair, you
launch.
did play it after.
Okay. So what's the list right now? It's 2?
It's 2, 4, Revelations, 3.
No, it is not top 3 as of right now. No, I will not let you put it top 3.
That's why I was like, I know I can't get away with that.
No. I wouldn't let you put it top 5.
How are you feeling about it being above Rogue?
No.
No?
No, I cannot.
See, I can see these above Unity in ways, because Unity has like much larger issues than Rogue. Hell, 3 has much larger issues than Rogue.
We're still putting it above 1 and Brotherhood. I'm just saying. One,
Yeah,
I feel bad for 1 because 1 keeps going down.
I'm actually happy how low Brotherhood is. Fine, we'll keep Unity above Brotherhood, under Rogue. Fine. I think it should be higher. I think it's got a bad rap at this point. But
I played it after the fact.
Totally
I've played it after the fact. Like, it's great. When I played it, I wasn't so interested in it as much.
Well, see, Rogue has the benefit of being a Black Flag too.
Yeah,
so
it
I'm
does.
like, fine,
but I love the fact
Unity.
that I could be a Templar. That's the part that gets me. I love the fact that I could be a Templar.
One thing I wanted to mention.
Do you want to get the producer on this again?
Nah, it's okay. It's okay.
That's what I thought. That's what I thought.
All right. Do you want to be in it? Where would you put it?
I wasn't listening.
Okay, it's the French Revolution assassin, or it's an assassin game where now he turned on to the other team, and now you get to kill your former friends. So now you're like technically the villain, kind of almost, but you have a good reason why.
And what's the gist of the French Revolution?
He's an aristocratic kid.
He's in a love interest with someone on the other side, Romeo and Juliet.
Romeo and Juliet,
style.
basically.
Oh damn, those both sound good.
He fights on top of Notre Dame in this like lightning storm. It's like the dopest
Hey,
scene.
okay, that was pretty dope. That was pretty dope. But
that character, this thing is like the story does not like do that scene justice,
No.
but the scene's cool. It's a fun fight.
That's a hard one. Both the stories sound good. So don't ask me.
oh,
Alright, she's conceding. I guess Unity. Okay, fine. Unity's under Rogue.
makes sense.
I'll allow it because, like I said, Rogue is a more competent game. I can allow it above it. I'm not gonna sit here and fight that hard for Unity. I will say this though, before we leave on Unity, because I want to mention this. Unity does something that 3 did a little bit, but Unity totally expands on it. Do you remember in 3 when you're running through the towns and you could run through a window and does that like animation?
Oh, yeah.
So you can cut through buildings without having to go over them. That's cool. That's a good idea. And then I love that Unity
Oh, they expanded on that?
is just like, no, now it's not a cutscene.
No,
you go
it's
into
just
and you
everything.
can it's just a building.
Yeah, and
Like,
you can walk in
and
it, yeah.
It's the closest, still to this day, like the closest any game has given to that dream of like when you're playing GTA 3 or Vice City or something like as a kid, and you're like, I want to go in. What if I could go into every building? And it's like, for whatever reason, Unity tried to do that, and it's like the only game that's tried to do that. And it's the closest I've done.
That was pretty good.
I had to get that out there because I'm like, I want it. There are things about Unity that I think
I feel like you want to put it above Rogue, but I'll give you this.
I have.
Fight me, rock, paper, scissors.
No, I don't want it. No. We'll keep it under. I just want to get out about these little things I think Unity does so cool, of why I think it deserves higher praise than its reputation. I just want to get that out. But we'll keep it under Rogue, and we'll move on to Syndicate. I'm really fascinated to know what you think.
Oh, I think Syndicate. Yeah, it's gotta be my last one. Off the bat. I didn't really like Syndicate.
I did. I actually liked
I
Syndicate.
did not.
I don't like it as an Assassin's Creed game.
It's not really. You're more just you're literally Thomas Shelby. Peaky Blinders.
Oh, yeah. Okay. This game is actually closer to 4 in my mind. And then, in the sense that it's a terrible Assassin's Creed game. But if you're looking for a British gangster game, like if you want GTA in London, this is like a really good one of those. Because the whole gang turf, like the turf warfare that they're going for and all that, the mission designs actually, like a lot of the side quests and the missions are really well designed. Especially like they have the detective missions that are really fun.
I just hated the transitions from having to be the brother and then the sister. I'm like, just let me be one. Like, I don't care.
You don't like being
No.
That was definitely like, man, GTA 5 had a cool idea. Let's do that, you know?
Yeah, but I mean, even in GTA 5, I didn't really like that.
I mean, GTA is a whole nother discussion. I could talk about how I think GTA 5 is very overrated, but that's a whole nother, that's another podcast.
But no, it's a good game. It's an alright. That's not good. It's an alright game for me. Like I don't really remember much of it. Like it was just like a bleh game. Yeah. Like I remember thinking, I'm like, oh, this might be cool. Then I was playing it. I'm like, yeah, it's kind of boring. Like, I'm like, they try to bring in like Edward's house stuff in it, like Edward's, and I'm like, I don't really care. I just didn't find them interesting at all to me.
The writing's pretty bad in that game.
I did not find them interesting at all. Like I stopped playing it at one point because halfway through I'm like, this is boring.
Yeah, to me it was this thing of like I was so ready to hate it because that's the one where it totally fails as an Assassin's Creed game of not only doing the assassination missions, which are kind of just like Unity again, there's some interesting stuff, but it's not that deep. But yeah, it's like because it's in London with these towering, like arguably towering skyscrapers, you know, comparatively. We've had big buildings, but mostly they've been tight. These are wide streets and they're tall buildings. It completely kills parkour. Yeah. To where
then you got the moving train and everything.
Yeah, and so that's when they add the grappling hook, and they know, so they're just like, screw it, use a grappling hook, and it trivializes parkour. Yeah. Parkour is totally non-existent in that game. That's why I'm like, it's not a good Assassin's Creed game. One of the core pillars of Assassin's Creed being the parkour element is pretty much shattered here. They have you do the carts, and they just work like cars. That's why I go like, it feels more like a GTA game than anything.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good one at that. Like it's good for what that is, but it's a bad Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
I was ready to hate it for all that because I remember seeing the grappling hook be like, that's stupid. But playing it, I really liked the side missions. I got really into like role playing as a British gangster, being like, we're taking over the town. I'm doing this thing.
I did like that. Like I did like the turf war battles and like taking stuff and defending it or whatever, but the characters I just didn't find that interesting. I was just like,
they're whatever. I think the writing's really bad.
Yeah.
The writing's like, oh yeah, this like slicked back hair villain is going to be the most mustache twirling villain ever. Like he is the most shallow evil man ever.
And it's just, and then you have like all the zones come back in again and everything is not like open as it was.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I think there's a cool part where it's like, you know how like it's split with the river though?
Yeah.
That's just cool. It's like this Frogger moment of like trying to jump through boats. That's when parkour was like, all right, you're onto something here. Because it's like you can't use a grappling hook because there's no verticality. That's like the only moment that shines.
Yeah.
Did you ever do that World War II mission they do?
No.
So I recommend if you...
I'm not going to go through that whole thing again.
Well, I mean, you still should have a save, right? You re-download it and play this. Because do you remember that in Unity? There's a mission where you climb the Eiffel Tower, Or is it World War One? I think it's World
No,
War One.
I think it's no. I know.
Unity's World
I
War
know we're
II.
talking about Unity. I remember I did that in Unity.
Yeah, you climb the Eiffel Tower. It's like a secret and animus side mission. You climb the Eiffel Tower. I think that's World War II. Syndicate, they do a similar thing where it's World War One, but it's actually like a portion of the map. It's like multiple missions.
Oh, really?
So you get to play in World War One for a brief time as like this mini side, almost like what they do in Valhalla. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh.
Where it's like now you're in Asgard.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they do a similar, much smaller thing with World War One, and it's pretty cool. I recommend, if anything, just check it out.
All right.
I think it's kind of cool. Yeah, I think Syndicate is kind of saves itself in its side missions and its design more than it being a good Assassin's Creed game. And it has the customization stuff from Unity, but they're not. It's not like Unity where I feel like I'm making my own assassins.
Yeah.
A lot of that stuff's gone.
I'm not gonna lie. I was mainly just trying to be the brother.
Yeah, I actually like the Eevee more. I was being her mom. That she was cool.
I don't like Eevee.
Although, it's like I did appreciate the brother because like Eevee's the one that's like, let's do assassin stuff, and he's the one that's like, screw this, I'm gonna be a gang. So I'm like, story wise, I guess I cared more about him, but I just played as Eevee more. I thought she was a cooler character in the end, but
Last.
I totally get Syndicate.
Last.
Yeah.
It's not better than one, in my opinion.
I'll take it. Like I said, it's a bad Assassin's Creed game. To like even worse than.
And it wasn't even like,
it
didn't have a good story.
Yeah, the story's bad. If you go into Syndicate, and with the mindset of it being a British GTA game, you'll have a good time with it in that context. I think that's the best I can say about it.
Sure.
We'll put it last though. I can't put it above 1.
Or Brotherhood.
I think I could argue about that, but 1,
No.
I like 1 more, which is funny because I do have Brotherhood above 1.
Yeah, exactly.
Because I think in like a personal like favorites list, I'd put 1 above Brotherhood. But what's interesting is we are done with like all the traditional stuff that Mirage is trying to go back to. We're on to the whole RPG world now with Origins.
By the way, one time I remember Tyler shit on me because he said I could not defeat this boss unless I was the right level for it.
Because you guys were playing a level like 7 mission and you're like 2. And I'm like, and you're like, oh, you keep dying. I'm like, because you gotta do other missions and
But
come
then
back.
what did we do? What did I do?
Yeah, not Justin.
I killed that boss. All right, thank you. You know, I don't know how I feel about this one because I love the traditional games. So when this switched over and it did the whole like switch, like the story's great. Don't get me wrong, I like the story. I think Bayek is great. His storyline's great.
But I think he's number 2 to me behind Ezio. Like I really like Bayek. Yeah.
Only from one game?
I know. Well, I mean, to be fair, this game is like a trilogy.
Giant.
Is the Ezio trilogy's length?
Yeah.
To be honest.
I think it's mid in my opinion.
Really?
Because I didn't like the transitions from like old school like to like RPG where if I want to beat these people, I have to level up, and it's like, okay. Because I remember I would walk into some areas and it'd be like the red thing, and it's like, oh, they're a level this, and then they kick my ass, and I'm like, all right, gotta go level up.
This is the one that's like, hey, your hidden blade isn't a one-hit kill anymore.
Yeah.
And that's a big change for
That was a big change.
That I think in Valhalla they let you do that as an option.
It's like an upgrade, I think.
Yeah, and then they tell you like you're gonna break the balance of this game if you do it, but they let you do it, which is cool. I really like Origins. It's very different. It's not
It's not.
We're going back to the Assassin's thing, but it's not an Assassin's Creed game. It's an RPG.
Well, this one is the start of all the RPGs.
To me, I call it. It's like Diet Witcher 3.
Yeah.
Where I remember playing it, and it was shortly after playing Witcher 3.
Well, it's mainly just the revenge story arc of him killing everyone that caused him to kill his son.
Yeah, but I think the story's really good in this.
No,
It's a traditional revenge story.
It's a good story.
But they do really. It's not just Bayek; it's his wife. and like the interplay between them and how they're both on this revenge story together. They're fueled by their heightened emotions towards like, we got to get this guy. He killed our son. He killed our son. And
but yeah.
it had spoilers for Origins, but like where it goes is really compelling of how they finally get their revenge, and they have this moment of like, that's kind of all we had. The little touches to these characters that give them so much nuance. The game does so well. It's a long game. I mean, it's
super long.
Nowhere near as long as the next two, but
no,
not even close, which I appreciate. And it was the first one, so I feel like it helped because I actually finished it and I played a lot of it. Even if it being an RPG, the plot is a lot more tied down to being an assassin. You have your hierarchy that you have to do one by one, compared to like Odyssey and Valhalla just go into such wild directions. Like, to
me, it has a sore spot because it's like, this is the start of when Assassin's Creed changed. So I'm like, I hate it.
I get that because it's not what the past was. It's not what the past was. It's
and for being an RPG, the customization on that shit was terrible.
That's
you gotta at least agree with, like, compared to the next two.
No, I agree. It gets better actually. That's one of the things that Valhalla and Odyssey Valhalla
Odyssey.
Gets better. Odyssey gets worse actually. Yeah. The customization is pretty simple, and Valhalla or Origins and Odyssey have this issue of, it's like that time when it's all about loot grinding, and it's like it's not a set weapon. It's, you're gonna get the same weapon over and over again, but slightly higher number. I hate that in any game. Like, that's even like Cyberpunk had that, and I hated it there. And so many games did that at that time, and still kind of do that now.
Like, if I want to play a RPG style game, I'll get an RPG style game. Like, let me get my Assassin's Creed simple, easy game. Like, if you want to give me like a setting to amp the difficulty, so I'm not just killing guys like right away, fine. But
yeah, I will say though, I feel like the combat got much more interesting at that. But again, it's like at the expense of parkour and all the assassin traits that we lose. I don't know if it's worth it.
To me, Origins' combat is still alright than what the other two have.
Well, like Valhalla and Odyssey.
Yeah. Because this one is still kind of, at least tries to still have some of the original, but with the RPG stuff in it. But the other two are just go like, fuck anything we've done.
Yeah, and that's what I was saying, like, where I appreciate, like, at least Origins is smaller than the other two, and like is that in between of like, hey, it's still centered around assassinating. It's Egypt, so there's really nothing to climb.
Oh, I did love Egypt, like Cleopatra and all that kind of stuff. That's pretty cool. Ancient Egypt.
I mentioned before about like Assassin's Creed games are very focused on their settings, and that kind of makes or breaks games. I think that's why
I didn't like Syndicate.
Yeah, and it's like, it's are you into that or not?
Yeah.
And to me, Egypt is an amazing setting.
Oh yeah, no.
As an open world RPG, this game is like one of the best open worlds. Not like not open world game. I'm not saying that or anything, but like the world of Egypt that they build, and the way you traverse it, of like going to the different towns, and you get a handful of side missions and story missions, and you get to explore these individual sides of Egypt. They have the desert you got to go through at parts. They have the pyramids. It's like, I was always fascinated beat to beat.
And all the random zip lines everywhere.
Yeah. But it goes back to the parkour thing. I'm like, yeah,
parkour's
that's the worst part.
Parkour's dead.
But I really loved exploring that world. I think as an RPG, it's Witcher 3. Witcher 3 is a great RPG, and it does a lot of what Witcher 3 does.
See, but Witcher 3 is like,
gameplay wise, nowhere near story wise.
Yeah.
Witcher 3 is a magical game, but that's a true RPG.
It's mid.
You know what I mean?
I'm kidding. I love Witcher 3. You think I'd watch the show if I didn't love the game?
I love the game too much to watch the show.
I'm not watching it anymore now.
Yeah, the Henry Cavill stuff.
Bitches. I heard the new season's trash too. I haven't seen it.
That's my thing. I know that I'll just keep complaining about little things if I watch.
You'll be Henry Cavill. You'll be like, that's why he got fired. That's why they wanted him out.
I don't want to do it.
All right, where would you rank it?
So,
Razzie, this is where we're gonna fight right now.
This is another one I'd rank, and you're not gonna like. I'd put
If you say above 2,
no.
if you put it top 3, Tyler, I swear.
I don't know if I'd put it above 2, at least in our list. I would try to say Revelations. I'd argue that. I'd argue above Revelations. Because I feel like when I look at it, I go, if I want to play...
We still have Revelations at 3, though. That'd be top 3 right now if you put it there.
It's clearly the best RPG one. At least I think. When I look at Revelations, I like Revelations a lot. But also, if I'm going to go back to an Ezio game, it's going to be 2. You know?
True.
I think as different as Origins is, being an RPG first, it is a really good one at that. It's good at what it does. It's not too bloated like the other ones get. It has a great story. Of this open-ended RPG world, I love exploring Egypt.
Yeah.
So we would have 2, 4, Origins, Revelations, 3, Rogue.
Oh, above 3? Dude.
You want it? So where would you put it then?
I'd put it maybe above Rogue.
You put it above Rogue?
Maybe.
Well, I'm happy about that because I actually was worried you're going to put it below Rogue.
Actually, no. I do love Rogue, though.
I can't let it go lower than Rogue.
I'd put it below Rogue, actually.
I'll say that.
Now, what's the one below Rogue?
Unity. It's better than Unity. I'll give it.
The story's better than Unity. If I was to put it anywhere, it'd be below Rogue. For me.
What if we did below Revelations above 3? Would you be okay with that?
Below Revelations.
I think Revelations is kind of high. We're almost at the end. Is Revelations that high? I guess so. I've gotten softer on Revelations over time. I do enjoy it.
I love Revelations, but I'll concede to you
to
putting
what?
it third.
Above Revelations?
I'll concede.
I appreciate that.
Since the other two are way too crazy.
Say what you want about the RPG stuff. I think it deserves it for what it is.
The story and everything, I like it. I
think Bayek's really cool.
Yeah. No, Bayek's cool.
In Egypt. Honestly, just that world. I was so tired of Odyssey, tired of Valhalla, in their world. I still think sometimes I beat Origins. I'm there's some side missions. I could go back in Egypt because Egypt's so cool. So I still think about that.
Now for the worst 2 coming up here soon.
Let's get ready for some hate.
Yes.
Because we're going to talk about Odyssey. It's objectively a good RPG.
I didn't like it.
I don't think it's worth anybody's time, though.
No, it's just so massive.
Yeah, it's really bloated. Again, it comes back to the setting of, I think Greece is so overplayed. And it's just do you want Greece and the Greek gods and all this, but just ad nauseum to the nth degree? Let's bloat this game to hell to high water.
Yeah, because it takes RPG to you got all these things on it, and it's what the fuck?
It's the worst about it.
It's a pure RPG game. That's
and it doubles down on the loot thing.
Were you Alexios or Cassandra?
I was Cassandra.
Oh yeah, because you were I want to fuck around.
Oh, my game plan. It's an RPG. I was my game plan is we're in Greece. I'm gonna be the horniest motherfucker ever. I'm trying to fuck everybody.
See, I read somewhere that Cassandra was supposed to be the main.
So I remember this was around the time where Ubisoft got a lot of crap because they're it takes a lot of work to make a female character. And people were what? And then so they made it finally you can play as.
I feel if you're at that point gonna make a game like Odyssey is, they should have just been able to let us make our own character.
Yeah.
Because it's it doesn't really matter.
That's what I think is funny about Unity. So Origins is an RPG, or is the beginning of the RPG turn, but Origins doesn't give you any story decisions. It's not really about that. Odyssey's where all that comes.
No,
in.
the one thing I did like about Odyssey though is your decisions affect stuff.
Yeah.
In the first island, do you remember? You know how if you go to the part that's burnt, if you decide to save or let those people die, I thought it was great. If you decide to save them, that whole island gets destroyed.
Really?
Yeah, because they'd spread the disease.
Oh yeah.
If you let them die, then the island's fine.
That's interesting.
I always kill them.
There is cool stuff with the story.
There is.
Like, it's
I
just,
love the whole like Leonidas and 300 and all that. That was cool.
There's cool stuff with there. I'm just tired of it. Like, it's just, I've heard these myths ad nauseum forever.
Black Flag was great because you can be on a sea, but you didn't have to travel too far. Odyssey, it's fucking all across. Like, it's a journey.
Yeah, and it does that thing of, like, you got to be this level to even come in here, and it's like... And, I mean, Origins has that too, but Origins world map feels a lot more condensed and focused.
Oh, well, Origins, compared to this one, Origins is
Yeah.
fucking, like, you're like, god damn. Like, and I hate that, like, I can't go to certain areas because I'm like, any low-level little boss, like, not even a boss, any low-level foot soldier can kill me because I'm not high level up yet. And it's like, why?
Yeah.
Because I remember, like, trying to get just the viewpoints, like, going to just to, like, unlock some stuff. And I'd run into, like, people that were, like, I can easily kill in other regions, but I go into there just so I can unlock or, like, get a viewpoint. They hit me, and I'm, like, fucking dying. And I'm like, this is stupid. Same thing in Valhalla. I'm like, this is pointless.
Well, I mean, in Origins, you were too stubborn to not
Well,
kill.
yeah.
You made it work then.
Well, it's because it's just, in Odyssey, it's more harder because you have to fucking go everywhere. Like, I like the fact that they brought the ships back, but the fact that it's not like it's old school ships, like, it's just like, whatever.
Yeah, it wasn't the same. The ships just weren't the same.
I like the thought of it coming back, but I just didn't.
I think Odyssey, like, that's why I hesitate to be like, it's a bad game. It's not really bad. It's still, if you enjoy, like, I enjoyed Origins, and it's like, there's a lot more of that. There's just way too much of that now.
Yeah.
And it's in a setting that I just didn't really care to be in any longer. And it's not terrible. It's just not, I don't think it's good enough to really recommend to anybody.
No.
As an Assassin's Creed game or a game in general.
Yeah, because it's so massive. It's so much time consuming that you're going to spend forever trying to get through it. Like, it's just so big.
Yeah.
I would honestly put Odyssey last, in my opinion.
I have no objections to that.
All right.
Yeah,
Good.
I think we put Odyssey last. Odyssey is a good game, I guess, but it's a really bad Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
I wouldn't. It definitely deserves to be on the end. And now, we're going to talk about Valhalla, which is another bloated Odyssey, pretty much. It's not, I don't think it's as bad as Odyssey, bullet-wise.
No, the story's okay. I don't really care for the story, really.
Yeah.
Like, Eivor's cool, but everything's kind of repetitive. It still sticks to that whole, gotta be this level thing.
Yeah, it's funny. I mentioned, like, Origins being, like, Diet Witcher 3. When it comes to story in Valhalla, it feels like it's, like, desperately trying to be Game of Thrones in, like, its politicalness. Like, political nonsense of this dark, gritty Viking politics story of, like,
Who can't kill civilians or else he'll desynchronize.
Yes.
Even though he's a Viking. I knew that was going to happen.
the most
Like,
tame raids.
no, as soon as when the trailer came out and, like, one of his Viking comrades was going to kill an innocent person, and he stops it, I'm like, there it is. We can't kill people.
This one is about capturing the Viking fantasy more than it is about being an assassin, or more than even being an RPG, I guess. And I think it does that actually really well. The way it explores Norse mythology, I really liked. I just genuinely like Norse mythology more.
Oh, I do too. Shit, I was rewatching Vikings when the game came out, so I was all about Vikings, but it kind of lost me.
The actual story just kind of falls flat.
It gets so confusing because then you get like Valhalla and on that, but then it's like, oh no, they're like from the civilization or whatever, like, and they embed their minds into this thing, and
I forgot about how weird it gets. It gets really weird.
Yeah, so like the Norse gods are really just like people like Juno and like all them, but just from another group.
It's like they picked the worst part of the Desmond storylines to like tie it in. I'm like, oh, that's bad. Just be a Viking thing. It's fine.
If it was just a Viking thing, I'd probably like it better. Like, I love being able to raid. Sometimes that was cool. Like, being able to just raid, that was cool.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like, the Viking fantasy of, like, pulling up on your ship, you blow the horn, everybody's coming in.
Let me kill everyone,
It's
though.
cool stuff.
Let me kill everyone, though. Like,
Yeah.
Don't Don't
sugarcoat being a Viking.
Don't give me a handicap here.
The one thing about Valhalla that makes it so much better than Odyssey is that the loot system is so like vastly improved. I hate the whole number game of like every weapon is just the same weapon but higher numbers. And I like that Valhalla is about finding specific weapons, and each weapon has their own set of skills, and about upgrading those like individually instead of just constantly looking for
I
more.
couldn't have a sword.
Like a traditional. I think there is a traditional sword.
There's only one sword in the game, I think.
Oh, is there just one?
I
I remember there being something though. But...
There's like knives and stuff. I don't think, if I remember right, I couldn't have a sword, and I was pretty annoyed by that.
Yeah, because they're mostly about like the dual wielding.
Yeah, dual axes and stuff.
Again, like Assassin's Creed 3, it's brutal and I love it. Like just like sheer combat.
And the map is huge.
It's not Pirates or Odyssey. It's about like these big, vast oceans or whatever you're going through. It's mostly about the canals you're going through with
which makes sense. Yeah. I did like the setting. Like, that was pretty good. I think it's good. All that kind of stuff.
It's beautiful too. It's a really beautiful game. I think it's a cool setting, cool Viking like fantasy. The way it handles bloat is even better. It's bloated as hell, just like Odyssey, but I think it's actually a lot better than Odyssey because in Odyssey it's like so vastly spread out and so just scatterbrained and monotonous that it gets tiring. Where I like how Valhalla goes, look, this is a big game, but we're gonna like detail, like intricately color code everything. Like this side mission will get you loot. This side mission will get you that. So you can at least look at the map and it's much more manageable. You go, this is a big map, but I'm focused on this small section, and then let me look in this section and I go, okay, I'm looking for a sword. Okay, these ones are the gold missions. Let me just do those. And you're not just aimlessly walking around doing everything.
Did you like
in the hopes of finding
like
something.
Upgrading the base and stuff?
Yeah, I actually think, like, again, I think it worked better that way than it did at least for me, for AC3.
Did you take your brother's girl?
I don't even think I got that far.
What?
So,
this is the one you never finished.
I never finished Valhalla, no. I didn't finish Valhalla. I got pretty far. I think I put like 20 hours in. I know that a lot of it was I found Asgard, and I just did a lot of Asgard. So like the main story took I took a back seat to that. I don't remember that being an option to take a Let's be honest. I lost interest by it because of how political it gets, and it's mostly about like, well, this army's mad at this guy, and you got to go deal with them. And, like it's a lot of that. And this king's kind of a dick. And like, that's what bored me. But I did like everything they set up with you and your brother. I thought that was cool.
Until you take his girl.
I know. So that's my thing, is I didn't finish it. I didn't know like about those details, but I do know about the ending and like where it goes with with the civilization stuff that we mentioned. I did get that. Like, I just looked at that. I was like, I don't care.
No, I was all for it, but then like after like about 2 weeks of playing it, I'm just like, oh my god, I can't even get past like the first phase of this shit. Like, hell, the first 6 hours are in an area where you would never go back to, really.
Yeah,
because it's the small little section area, and you're like, this thing's huge.
Yeah.
Because I remember just sailing from like the city back to your own town. I thought that took so long, and then it's like, oh god, no, this is fucking shit.
Yeah. It's so funny too, because they're like, I remember Odyssey came out. A lot of people complained about how bloated it was.
Yeah.
And there's, you can find articles about like the developers being like, Valhalla isn't going to be as bad as Odyssey, and it totally is. But again, like I said, like I do think I prefer it. I vastly prefer it because I think it's much more manageable. Of at least you can kind of cherry pick, and they make it clear of, if you want something, this is the one mission that'll get you that. These are the missions that are story focused. These are the missions that are kind of just whatever. These are the ones that will give you loot. It's like, I like that. That's smart. So I'm not wasting my time.
All right, where would you rank it?
Well, definitely above Odyssey. I think I'd put it above Brotherhood.
I can agree. I enjoyed it because I love the Viking stuff. I love like the raiding and all that kind of stuff, the expanding of it. So I'll put it above that. I'll be
Again,
I'm
like
alright
it's
with
funny.
that.
It's like I put like 20 plus hours into it, and I was so far from the ending. Like that's how tiring it can get to. It's like to me that's a beefy like that's a good game's length, and then I'm already just like this is too much. Which is funny because like people are talking about how Mirage is gonna be around 20 hours ish.
Yeah.
It's kind of nice. At least 20 to like 30.
See, all right.
It's like, hey, I might finish an Assassin's Creed game again.
We gotta give out the final list then.
Yes. So let me put it. We're putting it above Brotherhood.
Yeah.
Let's put it right in. Number 1, Assassin's Creed 2. Number 2, Assassin's Creed 4, Black Flag. Number 3, Origins. Number 4, Revelations. Number 5, 3. Number 6, Rogue.
The fifth game is number 5.
Technically, yeah, the 5th game is number 5. Sorry, number 5, 5. Number 6, Rogue. Number 7, Unity. Number 8, Brotherhood. Number 9, Valhalla. Number 10, 1. Number 11, Syndicate. Number 12, Odyssey.
Can I switch Syndicate for Odyssey?
You think Syndicate's that bad?
I don't like Syndicate.
I don't.
I would rather play Odyssey again than Syndicate.
I'd rather play Syndicate.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
Well.
I think we should keep it.
Louis, what do you think? Keep panting if you want Syndicate last. Oh, you kind of scared
Can
me
they
there,
just
no?
share it? Can we just have them share the bottom spot?
Yeah,
I'm fine with
we'll
that.
share the final bottom spot.
Syndicate / Odyssey.
Yeah.
They're tied for last. Okay, I can do it.
All right. Well,
I'm actually kind of happy with the list. Like, I don't think it's.
Well, what's your personal list?
So it's gonna be pretty far from my personal, but like,
Oh, really?
I'm actually kind of happy with the way
I
that list.
feel like I got a lot of wins myself.
So do you want to go through your list first?
yeah.
Okay.
So AC2,
Okay.
Black Flag. Then I put Brotherhood.
Dang, brother, it's I.
I gave up a lot for you. Then
I didn't realize you like brother that much. Dang, I'm sorry.
Then I put actually no, I flipped it. Revelations is third.
Fought harder for brother, right?
Revelations and then Brotherhood.
Oh, so you have Revelations.
Yeah,
higher.
it's
Okay.
just- yeah.
Okay. I was saying,
Revelations,
like,
then
really
Brotherhood.
put brother that high.
Yeah. Then 3.
Okay.
Then Rogue. Then 1. Then Unity. Then I have Origins, Valhalla, Odyssey, Syndicate.
Yes, dang. Yeah, you really hated
Yeah.
Syndicate. I really like Syndicate for what it is. Again, it's
No, I had Brotherhood at 4. Okay, so and now it's I don't know where it's
So-
at there.
well, Brotherhood at 4. Yeah, I'm actually surprised how high Brotherhood is. Brotherhood's not high for me. So
swear.
I had it at number 1, Black Flag.
Okay.
I had number 2, Origins,
What?
and then number 3, 2,
Oh, come on!
because I think
You think Origins is better than 2?
I think Origins is that good. I really like Origins. I kind of underplayed how much
You're
I like
shitting on
Origins.
Ezio right now. That's what you're doing. You are shitting
That one's tough.
on Ezio.
That one's one of those tough ones.
You are
where-
shitting on it. That's all.
Well, I'm totally happy. Like, I'm happy that 2's are number 1. Like,
Okay.
it's one of those things where it's like, to me, that's like the top 3 is like they're all S tier. It is just different for different reasons, you know. Like, but I put 2 because I feel like 2 would be the hardest to replay nowadays.
I guess.
And so my 4 is Unity. Because I think that Unity would be easier to replay now, and you get a lot of that Assassin's Creed.
God.
I really liked Unity.
Okay.
I really and I think I like it more with age.
It's coming from a man that didn't like Suicide Squad.
Well, the first one.
Yeah.
The Suicide Squad's great. James Gunn one? You kidding me?
That was great, yeah. I like both of them. Okay, whatever, go.
I don't think this is
Unity.
going to turn out the way you think it is.
Yeah, whatever. Unity.
5, Rogue.
Okay.
6 is Syndicate.
What? You have it at 6?
Because again, it goes back to
my
like as a
God.
game and like as the whole package. Looking at it as Assassin's Creed game, it's not that great, but I think it's a great like British gangster game. Especially at the time. Like, at the time, I was ready to hate it, and I was thoroughly impressed. I remember liking it. Like, you talked to me at the time, and I would put Syndicate above Unity. My list would look very different than it does now.
God.
But at that time, I remember being like, this game is better than Unity.
I can't believe you.
So, then we have 1.
Okay.
Then Revelations.
You have Revelations that low?
I'm not a big fan of them.
Wow. You're just shitting on Ezio. You're just stomping on his grave right now.
He's number 3.
Yeah, it should be number 1.
I'm fine. Like, again...
Or 2.
My top 3 are neck and neck. Like, they're really close. So Revelations at 8. 9 is Valhalla. 10 is Brotherhood. 11 is 3. 12 is Odyssey. I really don't like...
What?
Because I look at it like, I really don't like where 3's story goes.
Brotherhood? Wait, what was your last one?
Odyssey.
Yeah, so it's Odyssey, 3, and then Brotherhood?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah, my list is toxic.
What? Bro.
Especially for like what people normally would lean on, but
you're one of those normies that hated 3.
It's funny too because I defend it.
Yeah.
I defend 3, but also I'm like, when I look at everything all
I
together,
will
it
happily
is one of the
replay 3 anytime.
You know, so that's the thing.
Rogue.
And that's why Odyssey to me is on the bottom. Is like I am happy to never go back to Odyssey. I did replay 3. Actually, like it's enjoyable still.
And you have it that low.
But
second to
also,
last. You're saying it's barely better than Odyssey.
But also, when I replayed 3, it reminded me how fucking annoying and terrible the story is at the end of it. And it's like it's
you
so
are
heinous.
just stomping on Ezio.
How about this?
So
I'll say
hard.
this though, like I did make this list. I mean, pre-discussion, obviously. I feel like after the whole discussion we've had and everything, I would change it right now. Like I would put 3 above Brotherhood at this point.
Only one spot higher. It's still bottom 3.
I don't know. Valhalla's pretty good.
Oh my god.
And then 1, I gave a pretty big bump.
You did give it a big bump.
Because it's the first one.
I guess.
And I have a soft spot for like how it was at the time and everything it promised that it couldn't deliver by the time it hit 3. But
I can't believe you.
hey man, just because SVT is number 3, I just think out of those top, like my top 3 to me is like all number 1s, and I think out of those 3, 2 is the hardest to go back to.
I am okay with Black Flag being 1, but the fact that you have Origins as the top 3,
I don't think that's crazy at all.
I think it's crazy.
I think if I put Unity in the top 3, that'd be crazy. It's 4.
I'd walk out.
It's not that far.
I am happy you have Rogue on your top 5.
Yeah, it's number 5.
But
that was like I actually almost put Syndicate above it, but I was like, I can't do that. Syndicate's not.
Oh, I would have lost
Syndicate's
my
not
shit.
that good.
I would have lost my shit.
But I remember that being a big debate in my head at the time.
I can't believe that was even a debate. You have terrible taste in video games.
You can say that.
And movies, Mr. Film Major.
Hey, shout out to Liberation, by the way, because I would have put that pretty high up.
You would have put Liberations high up?
Higher than 3, funny enough.
What? Oh my god.
Liberation's pretty good. You really should check it out.
You know why it's good? Because Connor's in it.
No, it's because
because Connor's in it.
New Orleans is a cool setting,
Oh
and
whatever.
what they do with
your list made him
like,
go to
costume
sleep.
changes is cool.
The last setting of your list made him go to sleep. That's how bad it was.
Louis just
He slobbered all over my couch though.
So I just want to bring up Mirage before we leave. Get a gut check on it. How you feeling about Mirage? From what you've seen and everything.
Initially, I was excited for it. But now I am kind of skeptical. Because they're saying like how it's, we're going back to the roots, this and that. And then you look at the trailers and stuff and you're like, okay, why is he ghost like jumping
that killed
to different things? I'm like, okay. I'm like, if that's the only thing that's kind of crazy, I'm like, I'll take it. But I don't know. I'm kind of, since the last few, because even though I liked somewhat Valhalla, like I'm still kind of skeptical.
Yeah, it's this thing where
I don't have high hopes.
It's still, at the end of the day, it's still built on like the roots of Valhalla because it was supposed to be DLC that they expanded into like the thing. So it's still built on those roots, which
the Miles Morales game.
Yeah, like that. Which has
terrible game.
You know what Miles Morales?
I never played it. I'm kidding.
Which has me worried about how much of a traditional Assassin's Creed is it really? If it's going to be using that same system, those same systems, and like building off of the gameplay that has. Even looking at the trailer, like the gameplay and stuff, when they showed like the parkour and stuff, there were moments where I'm like, stuff looks off. It looks good. It still looks much better than any of the parkour and the RPG stuff.
Yeah.
But it still looks off. So it's like, I'm a little hesitant.
It doesn't look as clean as Unity.
Yeah, like you look at Unity and
it's like, oh, this is smooth. Then you look at that one and it looks very clunky.
I'll look at like Unity, like 1,000 hours in Unity or whatever, and people are just like showing off the parkour. I'm like, damn, I want to go back to Unity. I'd replay that game right now. I hope it's good though. The setting looks cool. Again, the setting's a big part of it, and Baghdad's interesting enough for me to. I think that'll be interesting enough for me to keep me invested.
I really hope they don't bring in they don't loop it in with like Eivor and all that kind of stuff because he's supposed to be Loki or whatever.
Yeah.
So I'm really hoping
just keep it separate.
Separate. Be an assassin.
So do you think it'll be good?
I think it'll be a mid game. I don't think it'll be good. I don't have high hopes for it really. I won't pre-order or anything. I'll probably wait a bit and then I'll buy it. Maybe if it's on sale or something, but I'm not too hyped for it.
I want it to be good. Once I saw like him zipping around, I get worried of like, okay, so that kind of shows me that you aren't really sticking to the roots like you said you would, which has me question like the rest of the game in general. I think it will be better than this RPG games though.
Hopefully.
I think it will be better than those. Will it be better than
Rogue?
Syndicate?
No. Better than what?
Syndicate?
If it's not better
I'm just
than
fucking around.
I don't think it will. Fuck, I hope anything's kind of better than Syndicate.
It looks like it's going to be, again, like an actual Assassin's Creed game, at the very least, focused on assassinating and whatnot. So that should give it a boost. I think it has a lot going for it that'll help it out to be better than those ones. We'll see how much, though. I actually do like our list. Like, it's funny because like then you look at my list and it's so unhinged.
It's so
unhinged compared to what we did.
It's so crazy how our list and your list. Mine's somewhat close. Yours is completely out of.
But I think it shows like how
persuasive.
Well, like I said, how fair I am. But how I don't think there's really like a truly bad game out of these games. At least
Syndicate's
for me, you know. I really like the franchise. I think
I love the franchise.
A lot of them.
I can complain all I want. I'll still buy them.
I know. I think about that too. Where I'm like, I still bought Odyssey. I still bought Valhalla.
I'll still buy them. I still love the game. I'm too loyal to Assassin's Creed because I've played it since I was in middle school all the way up till now.
Yeah.
So
I'm fascinated to see the reviews from Mirage. I probably will still end up buying it and playing it.
I mean, I'll buy them no matter what. You know what the best Assassin's Creed game is? Ghost of Tsushima.
Honestly, yes. That's a true fact. That's number one.
That's a fact.
We can agree.
Open world,
you know,
and you could still be a fucking ninja in that thing.
You know what? I'm doing it right now. We're putting Ghost of Tsushima number 1 on the list.
Ghost of Tsushima number 1 on the list, right there.
Look at that, guys. Ghost of Tsushima, best Assassin's Creed game. That's the end of the episode, and
that's a good way to end it.